Hi, this video I want to show us how to record credit card charges from customer. The other video I made earlier was on credit card charges to your suppliers or vendors for those who make use of credit card to carry out their transaction. So in this video, I want to show us how to record credit card charges from customer payments when you're receiving payment from a customer through credit card. And you also want to take note, because of the processing fee, you also want to take note of the charges, okay, or even how to actually record it in QuickBooks to reflect that you've received payment from your customer through credit card. Okay, so what we're going to do now, let's go to customer center. Let's check for a customer that we're going to receive payment against. Okay, so let's see, we have ABC company. So we're going to receive these payments on ABC company. So let's say we're receiving 140,000. Okay, so I'm going to go to home. Then you can see the flow. This is where you will receive payment. But to take note, I'm going to receive payment to an undeposited fund. This account. This is where I'm going to receive the payment to. Okay, so I will select ABC company. So on 140,000 there is, okay, can be in cash, visa, check, or whichever method there is. Okay, but we know this method is a credit card. I think from here we don't have an option, so I can add new payment method to include the credit card by that. Okay, so you can click on other credit card. Then the payment method, you now use credit card this way, so that you can classify that this payment was made through credit card. Then once you click on OK, we're going to select this option to select credit card. Just like that, we don't input any information for the card number. Okay, reference number is important. If you have a code, you want to code the transaction, or maybe there is a receipt number or whatever it is that it was generated through the payment, so you include that here. Okay, then next you go to save and close. Remember, we save it into undeposited fund, so I'm gonna go ahead and click save and close. Now let's generate our report to see one or two. Go to company and financial, go to balance sheet. Now you see under banking, you can see that we have Sterling Bank, GTB, FCMB. It means we've not taken that money to the bank. So if you look at this place, we have it as other current asset as undeposited fund. So but we want them to be in this bank. But why I'm using undeposited fund first of all is because I'm going to make my deposit through this undeposited fund. So most of the time you receive many transactions, many payments for a day. Then you decide that you are going to take them to the bank later on. But in this case, it is a credit card payment and it has been recorded into bank directly. But the reason why I'm using undeposited fund is because of this. So let's go ahead to let's go home. So I want to show us why I'm using that. So I'm going to click on banking and I'm going to go to make deposit. So over here, I will select the bank. Now the first option is the payment to deposit. So I'm going to select this particular payment of 140. I will tick this place. Then I'll click on OK. If I don't tick it, it won't select. So you can see it's 0. So I have to tick that. Then click on OK. Now it will automatically populate itself on my make deposit window. Now, if there is a charges that I incur as a result of this transaction that this payment we just receive, because maybe like a credit card processing fee or charges from our own hand, I'm going to go ahead and select ABC company because this transaction is related to ABC. I also select the expense account. Now I created an account called credit card charges. So this will assist us to track the charges. So over here, I can decide to make use of credit card payments. Okay, can copy that and add to this particular payment here. Then here I'll add an edit to credit card charges. Okay, charges. Okay, that will do. Now I can still select the payment method. It was still through credit card. I can leave that open anyway, and I can leave the two empty anyway. So then I select, okay, let's say the charges is 150, so I'm going to use minus 150. Okay, now the problem now here is that this is the amount that we receive in the bank. So it's either while creating this invoice to the customer, you included that you included an item called the credit card charges. You included an item or a service item as an item. Then you link it to credit card charges. So once you send that invoice to the customer, it means you've included the credit card charges on the total value that you're expecting to receive from the customer. So let's say after doing this transaction, you discover that the transaction cost is, let's say, 139,850. I just want to make use of that assumption that it was 139,850. That is the transaction cost. But you decided to add an item, an additional service cost, it's a service credit card charges of 150, which will now total to 140,000. So you are expecting to receive 140,000 from this particular customer, which you've done now. So this is the 140. But remember, the invoice itself is not 140. The invoice initially is 139,850. I did not do that example, so but I just want to explain to us. So but I'm going to create a video on how to show us on how to add a credit card processing fee to an invoice that I want to send to a customer so that we can relate better and understand perfectly what I'm trying to illustrate here. So now I'm assuming this payment received from customer is included both the charges and the cost of the invoice. Okay, which is the total customer receivable, account receivable. Okay, then this is the charges that we receive it cost us. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is like a net off. It's going to be like a net off because you are receiving the charges and you're also charging the customer. In this case, it will be zero. But should in case you do not charge your customer at first, it means you are only going to have 150 as an expenses that you have incurred. I just want to explain better so that we understand. So if you are just making use of the credit card charges now, it means you are incurring an expenses of 150. It means the invoice you've sent to that customer is worth 140,000, but you did not charge the 150. So it means you've incurred an expense of 150. The actual income that you are receiving is 139,850. But should in case you actually included the cost of this service credit card charges on the invoice while sending to the customer of 150, it means when you are receiving this payment now and you include this 150 now, it means it is a zero. It will net off the other 150 that was in the invoice. So I'm going to go ahead and click on save and close. Okay, so once that is saved, go to balance sheet. Let's refresh that. Okay, now you see on our assets, do we still have undeposited fund? No. Okay, then we deposited to Sterling Bank, so I'm going to double click on Sterling Bank to see the amount that we received. Now you see the Sterling Bank is receiving 139,850, which is correct. That is the cost of the invoice. Okay, I can cancel that. Then let's go to the account receivable. So this is account receivable. I'm going to double click on that. Now over here, you're going to see is 140,000 that was paid. The 150 for the charges, the 139,850 for the invoice amount, which total this 140. Okay, so we have that here, and that is correct. So this is the proper way for you to keep track of the credit card charges that you incurred as a result of receiving payment through credit card charges. So before I go ahead and wrap up this session, I want to explain again that while creating the invoice, you might decide to include the charges so that once you receive the payment, it will net off. But if you don't include the charges while creating the invoice, it automatically means you are just going to incur an expenses of, okay, let's go to reports and go to company and financial. Let's hit profit and loss standard. You see now I have an expense of credit card charges of 150,000. You understand? So we've incurred an expense of 150,000. But if it were to be that we have a credit card charge included, or a processing fee included to the invoice that was sent to the customer, it will net off these amounts. So hope you guys understand. If you have any question, feel free, drop it in the comment section. Like my video, you can share it to your friends and family, whoever is interested to any business owner, and can subscribe on my YouTube channel and turn on your notifications so that you get notified at the exact time I'm posting or making new videos. See you guys in my next video, and have a wonderful day.